Hello and welcome to this introduction to GCSE paper 3 for Edexcel. We're going to be running through the exam paper in a series of forms which will take you through step by step how to answer each question. This video just gives you a brief overall summary of what the exam paper looks like and the main issues you should think about when planning to answer questions for this paper. So you can see here this is the paper from 2019, which is the last examined paper. There was no exam in 2020 that students took, and so this is the most recent piece of assessment that we have. We were really delighted with the way the students in our school managed to handle that. So you know, that's something that's really positive about this paper in particular, is it's good practice for the real thing, and we know it's one that we were able to train students well for. There are 52 marks on this paper, and it should take an hour and 20 minutes. That is the length of the exam. You can see that here. And there are two sections. So we're going to look at section A in this form, and later in section B, Mr. Hinchliffe will be going through with you about how to answer the questions in section B. So for the sake of clarity today, I'm just going to talk about section A. Mr. Hinchliffe will lead you through section B, which will give you a much clearer idea of what that looks like. So section A, despite coming first, we would always recommend you do second. And that is because it has less marks, few marks, and is a simpler pair of questions compared to section B, which contains much greater importance for the overall exam. So when you open up section A, you'll find first a source inserted into the paper. It'll be short, they're never that long. Sometimes they can be an image, but more often they've been text. And you'll read that source. Your job is then to use the writing structure here provided, which will be in the exam, so that will be exactly as it is in the exam, to give two things you can infer about a topic. In this case, it says the early development of the Nazi Party, but that could be anything to do with the course. So the challenge is not just to make one inference, but to make two, and each time you make an inference, you're going to support it with a quotation. We'll go into that in more detail in the next video. For the time being, we can then move on to question 2, which is a very recognisable explain why question. So this could be again on any topic on the course, and will require you to answer it in the same way as you do for paper 1 on the Edexcel course. So explain why, we advise 2 petal paragraphs. That's 2 paragraphs with detailed factual evidence and detailed analysis. So that is the way we would recommend you answer that. And in terms of the split of time, we're looking at about 5 minutes for question 1 and about 15 for question 2. So you should be using 20 minutes of the entire exam to answer these 2 questions. So as I said, we will pick this up in the next video, but that is the summary for section A for paper 3.